Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video we're going to be talking about phenobarbital. Phenobarbital is a barbiturate anti-epileptic drug that is very used not just in anesthesia but most of the clinical practice, because it is active against all type of seizures except the absence generalized type of seizures, like the non-convulsive seizure like absence. And for those kind of seizure, the drug of choice is going to be etosuximide. But because etosuximide is only given, you can give valproic acid, which can be given IV. So let's talk about the mechanism of action of phenobarbital. Phenobarbital is going to bind on the GABA-A subunit. Remember, GABA is an inhibitory neurotransmitter and glutamate is an excitatory. So by enhancing the GABA effect, you are decreasing the excitability of your neuron. So phenobarbital is going to bind on those GABA and it's going to increase the influx of the chloride ion in the membrane. So chloride is negative. When chloride gets into the cell, it makes the cell more negative. We call that hyperpolarization. So it's going to be hard for the membrane to depolarize. So you have actually to bring a greater excitatory stimulus to make those membrane to be depolarized. And this is how phenobarbital decreases your neuronal excitability. Now let's talk about the metabolism and the pharmacokinetic of phenobarbital. So phenobarbital is gonna be metabolized in your liver by those CYP450 enzyme catalyzing the reaction of oxidation and reduction in your liver. So you want to adjust your dose if your patient has a liver insufficiency. And also, phenobarbital is going to be excreted for about 25% on unchanged in the kidney. So for those patients, you also want to adjust the dose for those who have renal failure. You want to adjust your dose of phenobarbital. Phenobarbital itself is a potent CYP450 and UGT enzyme inducer, meaning that all these drugs that goes through their metabolism by those CYP450 and UGT are going to see their metabolism affected by phenobarbital. So let's talk about zonisamide. Zonisamide is a drug that is also an anti-epileptic drug. It is also metabolized in your liver by the CYP450 enzyme. So phenobarbital is going to increase its metabolism, decreasing its doses fast in your body. And if we want to talk about other drug like lamotrigine. Lamotrigine is also an anti-epileptic drug. Remember, the rash giver. So lamotrigine is gonna be metabolized in your liver by the UGT enzymes. So because phenobarbital is also an inducer of those enzymes are responsible of the glucuronidation reactions. So because it's going to be a potent inducer of those enzymes, it's going to quickly affect the metabolism of lamotrigine, reducing the dose of lamotrigine in your body, inducing its fast metabolism. So this is why phenobarbital is going to have interaction with those drugs that goes through CYP450 or UGT enzyme metabolism. So also has a long half-life, guys. So it's about 100 hours. So it requires like 100 hours for half of the dose of phenobarbital to be eliminated in your body. So it's very long, and this is why phenobarbital main side effect is sedation, because it stays so long in your body. And also, unfortunately, your patient can develop tolerance. So at some point, if your patient is taking it chronically, you're going to have to increase the dose to achieve your therapeutic effect, because they're going to be tolerant to phenobarbital. So phenobarbital is also a good drug because it's less potent binding as compared to other anti-epileptic drug. So it's not going to be able to displace your other drugs that are high potent binding from their binding site, and this is actually a great advantage. Also, if your patient is having like low albumin or low protein in their system, it's not going to be affected by much by phenobarbital, which is an advantage. Now let's talk about the interaction that phenobarbital have. We already touched base with some drug when I was talking about the metabolism. So phenobarbital chronically, like basically all anti-epileptic drug, are going to increase your dose requirement of rocuronium, opioid, thiopental, propofol. So be aware. So phenobarbital is also going to increase or decrease your dose of phenytoin. Phenobarbital, like all traditional anti-epileptic drug, is gonna increase the metabolism of your oral contraceptive drug. So make sure you don't give that drug to those ladies that are on oral contraceptive. If not, they might be pregnant. Other traditional anti-epileptic drugs that have that capability is going to be valproic acid, phenytoin, carbamazepine. So you can actually give gabapentin if you want to switch. Gabapentin is not going to have that interaction. So let's talk about the side effect of phenobarbital. Phenobarbital, thank God, can only give you most of the time sedation, those related side effects, but be careful because you can also have respiratory depression as you go up on your dose or mental status changes. And phenobarbital also, like all other epileptic drug, can give you rash and birth defect. So you don't want to give that to pregnant women. But in general, phenobarbital is a great drug because it's cheap, it's highly effective. You don't need a lot of dose to achieve your therapeutic effect. So its toxicity is very low. It doesn't have a narrow therapeutic index like we saw with phenytoin. So phenobarbital, even the dose that are required to have hypnosis, phenobarbital can achieve its anti-epileptic therapeutic effect at those doses. So you don't need a lot, which is great, and it limits the toxicity. And it's widely available, widely used. You can give it oral, IM, IV. So there is another drug that I want to talk about since we are talking about phenobarbital. That drug is called primidone. Primidone is an actual prodrug because when you administer primidone, it's going to get into the body system and be metabolized into phenobarbital and another active metabolite called PIMA. And it acts just like phenobarbital, but it's only orally given, and it's also going to give you sedation at its side effect. So guys, this is what I got for phenobarbital. Remember, this week is anti-epileptic drug challenge. If I omit to mention something or if you have something good to bring on the table, please write down in the comment below. If you haven't done so, subscribe, like, and share my channel, and I will see you on my next video.